here with the end of installation wizard, where you have the option to launch the vpin-studio. Of course, you want to do that. And once you've done that, you see this service launcher, which allows you to connect to several vpins which have the studio installed. Because this is our initial installation, we are on the cabinet itself, and the first thing we're going to do here is, of course, to install the service, which will prepare the automatic startup of the server at every time your cabinet starts. The important thing to take away from here is that you must choose the pinup popper installation, because all the data, the emulator stuff and additional folders are read from the popper database, and also the autostart folder. Usually this should be resolved automatically. There are some users having troubles with it. All what this autostart folder is needed for is to generate a batch file to automatically launch the server. If you don't have any, if you don't know the autostart folder, or it differs on your machine, or the field is empty, you can check the GitHub page afterwards. And you go here to the wiki section, troubleshooting, and here you find some help regarding this batch file and how to manually set this file up. So let's install the service. And what happens now is that the server starts. It takes, depending on the machine, around about 10 seconds. And once the server is started, the initial table scan starts, and this may take a while. As you can see, I have only 139 tables installed. I assume you have more. The scan takes a while because it checks the scripts of every table, extracts the ROM names, stores the current high scores. It checks some default media that are used for background images, for high score cards and stuff like that. So yeah, be patient here. Once it is done, you can start administrating the tables. You will be greeted with a table overview and also a lot of validation errors, which indicates there are some issues with the table. Don't panic. Usually this is mostly because of the initial setup that assumes that you configured absolute every asset that is possible in pinup popper. So the first thing you're going to do is you go to the preferences, go to the screens section, and disable the screens you're not using. For example, I don't use the audio or audio launch folders, and I don't have a full DMD, and I usually don't fill the info and help folders. We can, for the sake of completeness, we can say, okay, we always have a help image available. And the next thing is you go to the table validators. And here you uncheck the alt sound missing files and and the pubpack missing files. This is something you usually can't do much about, and it's more for people that are creating these type of packages. But yeah, the validation errors about these are not much of a benefit here, so we disable them. So once you return to the table overview, the table overview loads, and a few more tables are green now. And you can now check for every table what is the issue for it. Here, this is my development setup, so a lot of tables are messed up, and but we can take a closer look. For example, this averages table, what's wrong with it? And as you can see, this table has no pubpack and no backglass, and of course, you want at least one of these files to be available, or one of these media package. So what we can do here is we can either dismiss the message one by one or click on dismiss all. We will see usually all errors of the table. Here it is only one. If we check other ones, there might be more. And you can dismiss all errors and say it's okay. the table is working as it is and I'm fine with it. So we dismiss this messages and it's green afterwards. So this is the basic setup about the validations, and we talk about table metadata next. A table not only consists of its assets, but also of the metadata that is usually stored in PinUp. So when you open PinUp, you can see in the Games Manager the different data fields that belong to the table, like the game or table category, manufacturer or number of players, release date, and stuff like that. You can also manage this data in the vpin-studio, but with some additional options to autofill the fields available there. So let's take a look. For example, here I've selected aliens, what or how the metadata of the table looks like. You can either double click or press this edit button from the toolbar, and you will see the table data manager, which shows you all the fields of the Popper database regarding this table entry. For example, there's details, metadata, and the customization fields, extras. These are fields that came with Popper 1.5. And additionally, also you can configure the screens that should keep running once the table has been started. So let's take a closer look on the first details tab. In addition to the usually game fields and ROM names, you see this lower section with the scanned values. If you remember, the installation of the vpin-studio made a longer table scan of all tables and extracted values like the ROM name, alternative ROM name, and the score text file name. Usually every game has a ROM, other ones not necessarily, but if they don't have a ROM, they have at least a text file name. So every table differs here a bit, and this table scan data tries to extract this data out of the VPX script. So what you see here is, for example, for aliens, the ROM name source L1 has been extracted, and as you can see that it is used as a ROM name for the table data. So when you create a new high score, this value will be used to look at the database, not database, but the NVRAM or other high score sources to read the updated high score and, for example, to update the high score card. As you can see, we have a green a checkbox here, which means that the matching high score or the ROM has been found. So from the list of all available high score files that are on your table, on your cabinet, this entry has actually been found. So this entry looks good, and if you like, you can also press this apply button, which then stores the value from the scanned field to the table data. So the important thing you need to understand is that these are only values from the vpin-studio, and the other part here is data from PinUp. So once you press save, the ROM name is saved in the Popper database. Let's take a look on another example, for example 2-in-1. Here you can see that this table writes its high score in a text file, and this text file name has been extracted using the table scan. And we haven't it stored in a Popper yet, but if we would store it, so if we press apply, we see the value has been met to the Popper field custom 4. So we are using the custom fields of PinUp to save this type of data. Another metadata that can be set for the or inside the table data manager is a VPS entry. So this can be used to extract data from the virtual pinball spreadsheet and apply it to the Popper database. For example, you could let's just use another one. You can use the search here to search. Sorry, typos. Example, if we had shown alien before, so let's stick to this example. I know this one's alien table, but if you match the table and select one, the selection will be copied and is stored in the pin-popper database, and the metadata of the table will be automatically used to fill the fields of pin-popper. It's not saved yet until I press save. What you can do if the entries are matching, you can try to use the auto match, and then it's back to the correct values. And as you can see, because I've enabled the autofill on selection, the data is applied there again, and yeah, so you can fill up the tables this way. Note that the auto match and autofill options both have auto match all and autofill all, so you can don't have to run it table by table. You can execute it for all available tables using these options. The important thing here, before you do that or before you configure anything here, go to the server settings and check this section here, because these are the three fields that the vpin-studio writes into pin-popper. If you are utilizing these fields for other stuff, like custom playlist or keywords, change the selection and use a field that isn't available, because otherwise it would be overwritten, and this is something you don't want, of course. One of the core features of the vpin-studio is the asset management for every table. And thanks to Nailbuster, the developer of pin-popper, the vpin-studio can also access the same asset network to add assets to your table. So what you see here on the upper right is a pin-popper media. It shows you the assets that are configured for the table in pin-popper. But additionally, you also have a preview, so you can check this preview checkbox here and get a preview of all configured media assets for the table. As you can see here, for the table Apollo 13, we've configured all assets, so this table looks good. So yeah, let's pick one that isn't configured yet. For example, Congo. As you can see, right now we only have a generated high score image, so let's configure the missing assets a bit. In the toolbar, you have these two pin-popper icons, and the left one brings you to the asset manager, which shows you the detailed configuration of the assets of every table. And yeah, let's start with the wheel. As you can see, the list of available assets is retrieved from Popper, and we can preview them, download them, and add all assets for all screens to our table. Now let's do this quickly for the loading screen too. And also for the loading screen. Now for the loading screen, there might be the situation where you have the full screen loading videos instead of the ARC or T-ARC videos. Here the studio offers you an additional option to add an additional blank video by clicking on full screen. So this ensures that the video is actually shown as a full screen loading image when the table is loaded. And yeah, we could continue here for the other screens as it's available, but yeah, let's finish this for now and head over to the VPS assets. So if you are missing some assets for the table, you can always check the virtual pinball spreadsheet for additional files. And as you can see here, I could also download some topper files and wheel arts from other sources, which I skip here, and yeah, finish the configuration of this table.